She'd been a Deal or No Deal girl. She was calling herself a model, and she was starring in a show Suits. She used to charge almost $30,000 per trip, which is why she was making good money. It wasn't on Suits, it was on her yachting trips.
The Meghan Markle yacht girl claims simply will not go away. And you know I've spoken about this before, but until now, no one in the mainstream media has been brave enough to go there. Well, that has just changed.
In the last two videos, we traced how Meghan's yacht past went from YouTube gossip to the Spectator's pages. We tracked Tom Bower's betrayal, Julie Burchill's column, David Boy's wanting Meghan under oath, and the silence where a denial should have been. If you haven't watched those, start there, because this video asked the question those two left open.
Not in a million years did Meghan think that she was going to score Prince Harry. She thought she was going to score Andrew until Fergie put a stop to it.
6 people across 8 years, 3 continents, and 5 completely different industries tried to put Meghan Markle's pre-Harry social network on the record.
20 years ago, that woman would not be able to marry a working member of the British royal family. Even though she's an actress, even though she's playing a role, that is just beneath the British royal family.
A tape broker in Los Angeles, an aristocrat in London, a Wall Street banker on X, an investigative blogger on Instagram, a columnist at The Spectator, and a biographer who interviewed 80 people.
It was not a question about whether she was a yacht girl, but just simply stating as a fact and then asking, was it double figures or triple in terms of how many yachts she was a guest on before she met Prince Harry?
You'd expect the Sussexes, and who employ Schillings, one of the most feared defamation firms on the planet, to have sued at least one of them, sent a cease and desist, filed an injunction, demanded a retraction, something. None of it happened, not once, not to any of them.
She was coming to New York all the time. She was in New York when Andrew was in New York for an entire month in September 2013.
And that's the part that should bother you most, because the story, everyone assumes that these people were silenced by a legal machine, isn't what the evidence shows. The evidence shows something stranger, more calculated, and far more effective. Hold the name Schillings. It comes back in chapter 6. And when it does, you'll understand why the silence wasn't enforced from the outside. It was manufactured from the inside.
I ended up getting sued for $20 million by Paris Hilton's family, by Paris Hilton, by Rick Solomon. And the weird thing about that is, if you don't have 20 million, you don't really worry about it so much because what are they gonna get? You can't get blood from a stone.
Kevin Blatt is not a conspiracy theorist. He's an industry professional with a Wikipedia page, an IMDb profile, and a track record that includes brokering the Paris Hilton tape, One Night in Paris, which sold over 700,000 DVDs in 2003. He testified in the Hulk Hogan versus Gawker trial. Last year, A&E put him on television for 6 episodes of a documentary series called Secrets of Celebrity Tapes. Fox News, CNN, Vice, and the Wall Street Journal have all profiled him. On March 12th, 2019, Blatt appeared on the Your Mom's House podcast, hosted by comedians Tom Segura and Christina Pasitsky,
where he describes a 2018 call from a woman claiming to possess a 4-year-old tape of a Meghan who is about to marry a prince.
And described being contacted roughly a year earlier by a woman in Canada. She claimed to possess a 4-year-old video of a model/actress performing a act on a photographer, a woman named Meghan who was about to marry a British prince.
Her name is Meghan, and she's about to marry a prince in England.
No, what?
Yeah, this story's not true, too.
Blatt's exact words. I know what I saw. It's true. I can show you the email traffic.
It is true. I'm going to show you the email communications, and you'll see why.
It's got a picture of a brunette from the top of her head.
In my opinion, that is Meghan.
I'm here to tell you that I believe.
You believe. It's like her ear or some shit, bro.
In my opinion, I believe this is Meghan.
And you believe she's eating this
Again, I know what I saw.
delicious treat.
And when I reached out to the lawyer and I told him, look, this is what's going on.
Is she in the change the diaper
Allegedly, guys. Allegedly.
Yeah, we're going to say allegedly.
He then added the tape was gone from his phone and only the Canadian woman still had it.
In case Interpol or MI6 or FBI are listening, it is now gone.
Yes.
It is not in my phone.
If anyone's listening, Kevin's got it.
Yeah,
Or a
we
hat.
want nothing to do
Not
with
us.
this.
The woman in Canada who called me has it.
He repeated the claim on Sean Atwood's True Crime Podcast, episode 887, July 2023, and on Dana Wilkie's Patreon show around the same time. Here's the thing about Blatt. Not a single mainstream outlet, not the Mail, not the Sun, not the New York Post, not TMZ, found this claim credible enough to publish. The podcast hosts expressed on-air skepticism. The evidence chain Blatt described, an anonymous caller, a tape he no longer possesses, email traffic he's never released, doesn't meet any standard of proof.
Paris Hilton in 2003 was really the jump off for me. That's when I got discovered as this guy who became a celebrity sex tape broker, which the name in itself is so ludicrous when you think about it, right?
Really is.
I remembered I was sitting and I was reading either Vanity Fair or New York Times or one of the acclaimed periodicals, and they referred to me as a celebrity sex tape broker. And I just laughed and I thought to myself, how ridiculous is this?
And by 2025, Blatt was back on Fox News and A&E talking about Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. He'd moved on, but nobody sued him. Nobody sent a letter. His podcasts are still up. The claims are still searchable. A dedicated anti-Meghan X account noted in June 2020 that Blatt had gone silent about the tape, but no legal action was ever documented. By 2025, he was back on Fox News telling the camera, "Back in the day when I used to get sued every other week by some A-list celebrity power lawyer, I was running and hiding. Now my life is good."
I've been sued for over $500 million by the powers that be over the years. I've never paid out one dime. Not one dime. What does that tell you?
He sounded relaxed, relieved, like a man who'd expected a fight that never came. And Meghan Markle, who sued the Mail on Sunday over a private letter and threatened the BBC over the Lilibet naming dispute, has never acknowledged Blatt exists. Remember that pattern: aggressive legal action against newspapers for specific privacy claims, complete silence when independent voices make far more damaging accusations on podcasts heard by millions.
She was a yacht girl, that's right. It's mentioned in the book. Meghan used to entertain as a yacht girl.
Lady Colin Campbell was born in Jamaica in 1949, married into the British aristocracy in 1974, after knowing Lord Colin Campbell for 5 days, and published her first Diana biography in 1992. Diana in Private was the first book to reveal Diana's bulimia and her affair with James Hewitt. People magazine called it the most believable Diana biography. The establishment dismissed it as fantasy. History proved her right. 3 decades later, she turned her attention to Meghan.
We landed in Canada, and one of our security guards who had been with H for so long, these guys were so wonderful, I just collapsed in his arms crying. I was like, I tried so hard. He goes, I know you did, ma'am, I know you did.
It's actually torture to listen to that woman now, because every other word out of her mouth is a lie.
Meghan and Harry, The Real Story, hit shelves in June 2020, published by Pegasus Books through Simon & Schuster. It became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. She followed with an updated edition, Persecutors or Victims, in April 2024. Then a Romana Clay novel, Rogue Royal, in November 2025. Thinly disguised fiction that everyone understood was about the Sussexes. Her one documented legal battle, she sued the Daily Mirror, not the other way around, for accusing her of defending. The Mirror apologized and settled in 2023. Lady C didn't get silenced.
Harry also knows Meghan was on Jeffrey Epstein's yacht with Prince Andrew.
She got vindicated, 3 books, 288,000 YouTube subscribers, over 136 million total views, regular GB News appearances, and the claims she's made on air about Meghan's pre-Harry lifestyle go well beyond what most commentators will touch.
In fact, I've seen the tapes. I've got them somewhere. God knows where now. I've got them on some.
So you've seen Nudie Rudy Meghan too?
I've seen more than one thing.
Look, I need to be direct about something. Lady C's credibility is genuinely mixed.
What the are you saying?
Her Diana revelations were vindicated. Her 2012 claims about the Queen Mother's parentage were dismissed as complete nonsense by historians Hugo Vickers and Michael Thornton.
Skin, when it stretches, gets lighter. It doesn't get darker. Does she think that is where 65 pounds of weight was carried?
She's promoted conspiracy theories about Meghan's pregnancies that have zero evidentiary support.
That's not possible.
She's not a clean source.
This is such a crazy thing to say.
But she is a source who has been making specific named claims on camera for 5 years.
Meghan at the Albert Hall. How many weeks pregnant was she supposed to be? Was it about 8 weeks? And she looks as if she's at least 5 months pregnant.
And the Sussexes have never sent her a single legal letter. 3 books, 0 lawsuits. That's not an oversight. That's a decision.
John LeFevre, who's behind the very popular Twitter account GS Elevator, Goldman Sachs Elevator, shared on Twitter that Harry wasn't the first prince that Meghan met.
John LeFevre is a former investment banker who created the viral Twitter account at GS Elevator, posting overheard quotes from Goldman Sachs employees. He parlayed it into a book deal and a media career. He's verified, he's public, he's identifiable, and at some point in 2025, he tweeted this in full under his real name. Meghan Markle is a yacht girl.
Meghan Markle was known as a hardcore yacht partying person, ready for anything.
She's one missed DM and a diamond necklace away from having been Joe Lowe's girlfriend. And after she ended up with the wrong prince, she had her Dubai pictures scrubbed from the internet. That tweet is still live. No deletion, no retraction, no legal demand. A man with a public identity, a verified account, and a documented media presence called the Duchess of Sussex a yacht girl, in writing, on a platform with millions of users, and nothing happened. Compare that to what the Sussexes did take legal action over.
This week, Prince Harry launched a savage attack on the press for bullying Meghan and announced he's suing a newspaper for printing a private letter to her dad.
The Mail on Sunday publishing excerpts from a private letter Meghan wrote to her father. The BBC reporting that the Sussexes didn't ask the Queen's permission before naming their daughter Lilibet. These triggered Schillings letters and, in the Mail's case, a full lawsuit that went to court.
How many lawsuits have you filed against the Mail and so on? Forget the lawsuits, though. It's your whiny statements about the nasty press. Every single celebrity deals with it. You don't think George Clooney's had negative things written about him? Tom Cruise had negative things written about him? He doesn't use his speeches or his media appearances to whine about the mean media. They say the things that aren't true. We're sick of it. Shut up about your negative press coverage.
A private letter gets you sued. A publicly verifiable BBC report gets you a legal threat. But calling the Duchess of Sussex a yacht girl on social media? Silence.
And I wonder if Prince Andrew's going to come out and say, hey, Harry, I did your wife quite a few times on yachts before you got her.
What?
Accusing her of being associated with Joe Lowe, a man convicted of one of the largest financial frauds in history? Nothing. That's not random. That's a legal strategy. And it only makes sense when you understand what Schillings actually does. And more importantly, what Schillings has never done when it comes to these specific claims.
Whoa, okay. The House and Habit bombshell investigation into Meghan Markle is close to dropping.
Jessica Reed Krauss runs House and Habit, one of the most followed independent journalism accounts on the internet. Over 1 million followers on Instagram, 447,000 subscribers on Substack. She covered the Depp Heard trial, the Ghislaine Maxwell case, and, extensively, the circles connecting Soho House, Marcus Anderson, and Meghan's pre-Harry social network.
Jessica Reed Krauss writes, I have all the scrubbed info. Soho, Epstein connections, now that is clearly a reference to Soho House. Photos and mistreated staff as meaning anonymous sources detailing what it's like to work for her.
Her Instagram account has been suspended multiple times. She described one episode publicly in a Substack post titled, "A Coordinated Attack Suspended My Account," attributing it to mass reporting campaigns organized by adversaries she'd accumulated across multiple high-profile stories.
The reason why these pictures are so problematic for Meghan Markle is because these pictures place her with Jeffrey Epstein.
And this is where I have to be honest about what the evidence does and doesn't show. Krauss did face platform suppression. Her account was suspended, but she attributed that to coordinated mass reporting from multiple adversary groups, not specifically to the Sussexes or Schillings. No Schillings letter to Krauss has ever been documented. No lawsuit, no cease and desist.
But this is a woman who drops truth bombs and who always keeps the receipts. And for some time, she has been promising major revelations to come on Meghan Markle, on Meghan Markle's past. And what we've seen overnight, Lauren, in a series of Instagram stories which precede what the investigation will reveal is quite something.
She currently holds White House press credentials. Semaphore profiled her as a political media figure, and her Substack is one of the highest-earning independent publications in the country. Whatever happened to her Instagram, she's not silenced. She's thriving, and that's the pattern across all 5 cases. Blatt, still podcasting. Lady C, still publishing. LeFevre, tweet still live. Krauss, bigger than ever. The people who spoke aren't the ones who got suppressed. The suppression happened somewhere else entirely. Schillings was founded in 1984. Their founder, Keith Schilling, earned a nickname in the British press, the Silencer. Spears magazine wrote that the mere sight of a letter on Schillings' headed paper became enough to send a chill down the spine of any journalist. They claim to employ the largest team of defamation and privacy lawyers in the world. They act exclusively for claimants, never defendants. Their client list has included Joe Lowe, who used them to block the distribution of billion-dollar whale in the UK. They threatened the Financial Times over its Wirecard reporting.
It's not them who have said they want privacy. It's something that the tabloids have said about them that's latched on. They have taken steps when there have been blatant violations, unlawful violations of privacy. Of course, then they've challenged it because that's in line with their values. But that doesn't mean just because you assert your human rights that you then become some kind of Trappist monk and take a vow of silence and you're not allowed to discuss anything. That's not how privacy works. Privacy is about the right to own and control what personal information you choose to share with somebody.
For Harry and Meghan, Schillings secured a genuine courtroom victory. Meghan's privacy case against the Mail on Sunday decided February 2021. They sent a legal letter to the BBC over the Lilibet naming story in June 2021. They're involved in ongoing claims against Associated newspapers over unlawful information gathering. That trial began in January 2026. Every single one of those cases targets a newspaper publisher. Every single one involves a specific provable privacy violation or defamation claim. And every single one operates within the traditional legal framework of UK media law, where outcomes are predictable and damages are quantifiable.
Let me take you through what Tom Bower has revealed. He's told the Daily Mirror, "I've got a lot of new material already, and I think the whole world wants new insights. It's an amazing story."
Now count how many times Schillings has sued an author, a YouTuber, a podcaster, a social media commentator, or an independent blogger over claims about Meghan's pre-Harry past. 0. The number is 0. And that's the mechanism nobody talks about.
The Yacht Girl. Oh my God. Ghislaine Maxwell spoke. She said so. Virginia Roberts spoke. They both talked about Meghan Markle, but the world chose to ignore it. And even now, with these pictures out in the public domain, the press still refuses to expose Meghan Markle.
Schillings didn't need to sue Kevin Blatt. They didn't need to threaten Lady Colin Campbell. They didn't need to send a letter to John LeFevre because the reputation, the silencer, did the work for them, not in the independent media space, where people like Blatt and Lady C had nothing to lose. The reputation worked on the people with everything to lose. The editors at the Times, the legal departments at the BBC, the commissioning editors at ITV, the people who sign off on headlines, greenlight investigations, and approve column inches about the Duchess of Sussex's pre-Harry social circle.
Something is going on. And Meghan and all the things that she has done to, pull other people down and to question them and their behavior. Well, let's continue to turn the tables and talk about you, Miss Meghan Markle, and what you have done.
For 8 years, those gatekeepers looked at the Yacht allegations, looked at the Schillings letterhead, and made a calculation. Not is this true, but can we afford to find out? And every time, for 8 years, the answer was no. Commissioning editors killed stories. Legal teams flagged pitches. Journalists who'd done months of research got told the paper wouldn't publish, not because the story was false, because the cost of defending it, even if they won, was too high.
The privacy laws are pretty strong here, and that's what she used as a weapon at the time. So there were quite a few things about her personal life. I'll work them into another book, I think.
Tom Bower published 2 books, 80 interviews, 300 pages of documented sources. He told ITV's Lorraine in July 2022, after Revenge came out, that if Meghan sued, she won't want to appear in court being cross-examined by my lawyer. That was a dare. She didn't take it. And Schillings responded to betrayal with a press release. No lawsuit, no injunction, no legal challenge.
Just remember, Harry and Meghan threatened to sue at the drop of a hat, and they have never tried to sue Tom Bower because they know what he writes is true.
That press release, deranged conspiracy and melodrama, was the entire response to the most extensively researched critical biography of Meghan Markle ever published. Bower noted the contrast in The Spectator. Robert Maxwell sent him endless writs. Richard Branson sued twice. The Sussexes sent a statement. So what changed? Andrew got arrested on February 19th. 3 million pages of Epstein files hit the public record 3 weeks earlier. And suddenly, The cost of silence became higher than the cost of speaking. Because here's what the editors and legal departments calculated for 8 years. If we publish, Schillings might sue us. If we don't publish, nobody notices. Andrew's arrest inverted that equation. Once the Epstein connection became a mainstream law enforcement matter, once a former prince was held in a police station for 11 hours, the question stopped being, can we afford to investigate Meghan's social network? And became, can we afford not to? Julie Burchill printed the Yacht question in The Spectator 10 days ago. Nothing happened, no lawsuit, no legal letter, no retraction demand. That column is still live on the website. The Spectator's lawyers reviewed it before publication, and 10 days later, Schillings has not responded. And this is what the last 3 videos have been building toward. The Yacht Pass story wasn't suppressed by legal action. It was suppressed by the anticipation of legal action that never came. 5 people, across 5 industries, 3 continents, 8 years. Said it publicly. None faced legal consequences for the yacht claims specifically. The mechanism was never a courtroom. It was a letterhead, a reputation, a calculation made in legal departments across London and New York that the risk wasn't worth it. All of this is based on public reporting. The analysis is mine, the facts are on the record, and none of us were in those rooms. But when the same story survives across 8 years, 5 unconnected speakers, and 0 successful legal challenges, and the only thing that kept it off the front pages was the fear of a law firm that never once filed a suit over this topic. The question you should be asking isn't whether the story is true. The question is, what kind of story survives 8 years of pressure without a single person retracting it? That's the question. And right now, for the first time in 8 years, mainstream media is asking it too. This is Star Spotlight. The silence broke, and it's not going back.